Hello everyone and welcome to Invest in Bulls. This video is for you if you are losing money on option contracts or you won't get the premium which you were expecting to make certain profits. My friends, the reason for that is because you are buying option contracts without knowing the Greeks. And today we are going to discuss in this video some of the Greeks. And the main Greeks which we would be talking about are delta, theta, gamma, and vega. I have just taken a snapshot of the option chain contract for SPY, and that shows 1 day expiry, 3 days expiry, and 5 day expiry. And you can see the Greeks over here, delta, theta, gamma, and vega. So let's talk about the first Greek, which is delta. Let's take an example, guys, that you are buying an SPY which is at the money. Let's say 420 is the price which is going on currently. You can see majority of the time the delta is going to be 50-ish. And you can see over here whether you buy for 1 day expiry, 3 day expiry, or at the money, the Greek delta is going to be 50 always. What does that mean? That means that if you are buying an SPY, let's say for $420 over here, and the delta is 50. What does that mean is if in a day SPY, let's say, reach to 425, which is a $5 profit. So every dollar which you are going to make as in profit, you are going to make half of that, which means $5 profit will give you $250 premium profit in that particular contract. And the same way, let's say if SPY reach to 415, which means you are going to make a loss of $5 over here, which means your premium is going to be minus $250 at that particular time. So this is one of the main important Greek which you should know. The next important Greek which we are going to talk about is theta. So theta is time to decay, right? So what does that mean? Let's say SPY with the 1 day expiry will have a very high time to decay for the same $420 contract. Over here it says 2.89. At the same time, but if you see for 3 days, the theta is going to be little less, which is 1.04, and it is even less in 5 days expiry. So how does theta works? Let's take an example. So for 420 contract, we bought, let's say, a contract at $365 at 1 day expiry, right? And at 1 p.m. the theta is, let's say, 2.89. What does that mean is basically if the price is not moving and at the end of the day, if it is, or let's say at 3 p.m., the price is still $420, which was our bought strike price, and we bought a call which is $365. So which means because the price has not moved and the theta was 2.89, that means 2.89 into 100, you are gonna lose premium of worth of $289 out of 365. Sorry, 289 out of 365. And now, as soon as the time moves, even the theta is going to be even more and more, right? Which means maybe at 3 p.m. now you have already lost 289, and at 3 p.m. theta would be 3.65, which means if now the price from here is not moving or it is sideways, then you are going to lose all $365 over here and your premium will be zero. So this is how basically theta works, and theta is one of the very important Greek you should know because that explains you how you are going to either make money or lose money, right? The same way, let's take an example. For 3 days, theta is, let's say, 104, and you bought the contract at 574. So on 1 day, if the price is not moving in your direction, you are going to lose $104. Next day, the price is going to be, let's say, 2.50, right? Which means if the next day also, if the price doesn't move, you are going to even lose even more. And the third day, because that is the day of expiry, you will have a majority of the loss, and that will eat up all rest of your premium and make this premium as zero, which means all the capital which you have invested, 574, is going to be zero if the price doesn't move in your way. And theta makes or plays a very important role on taking the contract. So you have to always understand how theta is working and what kind of theta you are buying for any contract which you wanted to buy, which is now. Next one we are going to talk about is gamma. So what is gamma means? Gamma does not have a very high impact, but this has an impact at the end of the expiry days. There are even gamma players who play only the option contracts at the end of the contract expiry. What does that mean? So let's take an example that on 25th of March is the expiry of SPY. So gamma players on 25th March at 1 p.m. they will look out the contract which are dirt cheap. The reason for that is because the theta is already gone. The delta will be high for at the money. So let's take an example. At 1 p.m. the SPY is running at $421, and this particular contract is going to be dirt cheap. As I mentioned, dirt cheap, which means like you may get this particular contract for $50 itself. And now, if you are basically thinking that this particular price is going to go down and you are expecting a put at 421 strike price. Now let's take an example. Because of the volatility or whatever reason, the price went to 418. Now in this particular case, because this was your at the money when you bought, but now because the price is 418 become at the money and 421 become in the money, which means your profit at this particular time is going to be $300 plus. Because you are getting all in the money, delta is pretty high for that. The contract was dirt cheap. There is no impact on the theta. That's the reason you may get at least 320 or let's say $340 at that particular time approximately, which is almost 6 times of what you bought. Most of the time this gamma, it works one time in 3, but still it is worth, because when you are making a profit, you can make profit more than, sometimes it is 10 times also. So if you are making profit of 10 times and if you are losing let's say 3 times, gamma players are still in a net. Now let's talk about the Vega, which is the last Greek. So Vega is over here. So Vega is explaining the volatility of the particular stock. So Vega can be either a positive or the negative. If you have a negative Vega, which means low volatility of that particular stock at that particular day. But if the Vega is positive, that means this particular stock has some high volatility. This Vega normally people use when they are playing option strategies, right? So some of the negative Vega option strategies are, let's say, short straddle, iron condor, and iron fly. And some of the positive Vega strategies are long straddle, long strangle, or calendar spread, right? So these are some of the strategies which are being normally used, and Vega plays a very, very important role when playing these strategies. If you want to learn more about these strategies, you guys can basically subscribe our option strategies training class. which is over here, where I normally explain 8 types of different option strategies, intraday swing strategies, how to hedge the option tradings, saving, how to save the capital, what kind of common mistake all the traders basically put, and which you should avoid. So if you want to know and learn more about it, please feel free to sign it up or send me an email on vmalhotra at investinbulls.com. With this, thank you and have a good day and happy trading.